All right, that was a rough night for the Padres. They were almost no hit by old friend Nick Martinez, and that felt like such a Padres thing, right? Usually it's on the offensive side, whether it's Austin Hedges homering or it's, lately James Wood and CJ Abrams taking it to the Pods. Former Padres doing well against the Padres. We're used to that as Padres fans. But to have a former Padre, or a pretty recent former Padre, almost no hit you, that's something else. Are there going to be? I'm going to be interested in seeing what Mike Schilt is going to say in his post game presser. Is it going to be tip your cap to Nick? I guarantee you something to that effect will be done by Mike Schilt. And for those that will hate that, I'm not really on that side. Should the offense be better? Yes, but two things can be true at the same time. Offense should be better, but also if the other guy on the other side almost throws a no hitter, he has something working. He's not terrible the entire night and he just gets lucky all the time. That's not what happens. You get lucky in a few plays, but usually when someone is that close to a no hitter, they have pitches working. And Nick Martinez, he had that changeup working, that nasty strikeout to Jay Cronenworth, I believe late. I think that was to end the eighth inning. Um, Again, this Padres offense, like, I'm not trying to excuse the effort, but Nick did pitch really well tonight. He didn't luck into, you know, him pitching way deep into this game. Like, there's a reason why he did it. He was efficient. Um, if the Padres were to be no hit, let's say they got no hit by Nick tonight, would it have been embarrassing? I mean, it's always embarrassing when you get no hit, right? It would have probably been worse because it's a former Padre, right? But really, what the worst thing is that Dylan Cease again wasn't good enough. Gave up homers, and the Padres didn't really have a shot in this game. With the combination of the offense, but also not just Dylan Cease, but defensively as well. Early in this game, the first couple of runs score. Tatis on a ball gets a runner to, I think, second and third, and that's just a regular single to right field, and it gets past him. So the attention, the focus wasn't there. Martin Maldonado on a pitch that wasn't in the dirt, just pass ball, and Diaz is the one guy that ends up coming up with a hit in that ninth inning. They're pinch hitting for Maldonado, but Maldonado not the best there to start off this game. So those two runs end up scoring and hurting the Padres there. And that was the only two runs that the Reds even needed in this game. So for me, I really feel like we just got to flush this loss because you're not going to get almost no hit every game. Um, Nick was pitching really well tonight, but at the same time, you think of the Cincinnati Reds, you don't think of, oh man, that's going to be a juggernaut. That's going to be a really hard team to face. And then you go in there and you have Spencer Steer hit 3 home runs against you. If I remember correctly, he's hit pretty good against the Padres in his career. Maybe it's just one game that I'm thinking about, other than this one. I think it was in Cincinnati as well. But yeah, he got he capitalized on mistakes from the Padres, and Cease made a couple. Um, Still though, I'm not like super panicked about a loss like this. It's something. It was just a bad combination, right? Tatis is not going to play right field like that. Have that bad moment like that consistently. Um, Padres, they're still going to be looking for catching help and try to make some of those additions. And the offense isn't going to get almost no hit every night. So, yeah, the Reds, they hit balls hard. The back end of this bullpen, sure. If you want to try to take a positive with Reynolds and David Morgan, Reynolds called up pretty recently. Okay. But I don't think any Padres fan wants to hear about positives from this game when they were 2 outs away from getting no hit. When Elias Diaz came up to the plate and got that ball in the gap. I did think that Nick Martinez got squeezed. That batter before on the walk, who obviously ends up coming around to score. I think it was Bryce Johnson. Um, but yeah, that was just a sucky night for the Pods for sure. And you really just move on. Like I don't have a whole lot more to say about it. It's just like, yeah, they got dominated, made some mistakes, deserved to lose that game. The one run that they do score was a bases loaded walk. And yeah, that's all there is to it. Sorry. Bryce Johnson was the one that walked. That was later. That was not the who was the batter that Martinez walked before he gave up that hit? Trenton Brooks to lead off the ninth. Sorry, the Padres were 3 outs away from being no hit, not 2. For some reason, I thought that there was an out there in that ninth inning recorded. But, good for Nick Martinez. Not good for the Padres. But they were saying on the broadcast that Nick wasn't even starting before this game. Yeah, his last couple of outings. An inning, 2 innings, 2 and 2/3 against Minnesota on June 19th. He up 7 earned runs in that outing. So he does that, and then boom, he comes up with this performance. Sometimes that's baseball, but I think putting some of um, that context in it, I think that makes it worse for us for sure.